Hello YouTube, and welcome to the first video for the how-to series on the Minecraft. Today I will be showing you how to set up a server for Minecraft beta. For the first step, you're going to want to create a new folder on your desktop. I'm just going to leave mine named to Minecraft. So that'll be there, right on top of Minecraft. Next step is to open up your internet browser. I just happen to use Google Chrome. It really doesn't matter as long as you can get to Minecraft.net. Speaking of that, you're going to want to get to Minecraft.net, so go to your address bar and type up Minecraft.net. Once the page is loaded, it'll say Play Minecraft Beta. This isn't the place you would think to look for server programs, but this is where it'll be. You go to Play Minecraft Beta under Buy Now, go to Download. Next, you will come up to this. You've probably seen this before if you've downloaded it, and you'll go down and it'll say Multiplayer Alpha Server Software. So if you were looking for it before, it'll still say Alpha, but it's actually beta software. Even though I'm running on Windows 7, I always prefer to use the Minecraft_server.jar because it always seems to run better for me. So, click it, and Google Chrome will say that. Save it, it's perfectly safe. Get to it wherever your computer downloads it to, and mine has it highlighted right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that, exit that out. Leave this up in case we need it again, and go into our Minecraft folder. Alright, then you can paste that jar file here, and then go ahead and run it. Oh, I'm sorry, I have mine set to open JZip. Go to Open With and Java. You want to open jar files with Java. It'll take a minute to load, depending on how fast your computer is. Your computer doesn't need to be super fast. And now it'll say not enough RAM, most likely, unless you don't have any RAM, which is impossible. Alright, and then it'll say to start the server with more RAM, we'll launch it as java-xm whatever. And once the spawn is prepared, you can go ahead and copy that. Let me just wait for it to prepare, and as you can see, it's already 39% free. We can get that to about 95% free once we do this next step. Alright, once it says done, type help or question mark. You can go up here. It'll say launch it as java-xmx1024m- and right before or right after quotation marks and right before the quotation marks, you copy that. You can't right click and copy on the server program, so you're gonna have to do Control-C, or if you're on a Mac, do Alt-C, but for Windows it's Control-C, and then type stop. You should always learn to stop your server instead of just exiting it out. And then create a new text document in the same folder that you have your Minecraft_server. Let me rename this. If you have it to 2, you did something wrong. I just have multiple servers. Alright, so you go to new text document. Make sure your jar file looks exactly like that. You can just name it new text document and paste what you just copied, so it should look like this. Now you go File, Save As, and file name, new text document. First of all, save as type, all files. And then what I normally do is just save it as Minecraft_server.bat. For Windows batch files, you should always save it as that. I have no idea what you would want to save it as on a Mac, but batch files are what Windows uses. And you'll have this. You can go ahead and delete that new text document, and you'll have this batch file. And then it will come up with this, and then it'll open up the program. You're not done yet, though. Okay, you'll notice that in here you'll have a bunch of new files. We'll get back to those later. You can see how it has 95% free now, and it's using way more megabytes of RAM. So you can go ahead and stop that, and we're going to get on to port forwarding. You're going to have to wait for the spawn to prepare. Port forwarding is the hardest part, but if you just pay attention to what I do, it'll work fine. Stopping server, saving chunks. Sometimes it'll take a minute to save. Let's try that again. Oh, failed. Stop, there we go. We'll get back to all these files after we do the port forwarding. Well, first we're going to go into servers.properties and make sure server port says 25565. We can mess with these settings later. Alright, so once you know it's 25565, if you're running Windows 7, go to Start and search Programs and Files and search CMD, short for command, and it'll come up with cmd.exe. Click that, and it'll come up with this screen. Nothing will pop up. And right after users / whatever your name is, put ipconfig. That's ipconfig, and enter. It'll come up with all this. Now, if you use an Ethernet local area connection, you won't be able to set up a server. You'll have to have an actual internet connection. I run off of wireless, so this is my data, and you want to look for the default gateway. 192.168.1.1. Alright, so you can minimize that. Once you know that, go up here, back to your browser, and type that number in. 192.168.1.1. Your number may not be mine, because you might have a different router than I have, but for me, this is it. And enter. For most servers, or not servers, it says server, but it's not a server. For most routers, the username will be admin and the password will be password. But if not, contact the person or place that sold you that router. Go ahead and log in, and you'll come to a screen somewhat like this if you have a Netgear. Okay, so it'll come with all this, and you're going to want to go to something that says either port forwarding or port triggering. Some I've seen that say games and stuff. So it'll come up to something like this. You can ignore that. Make sure it's on port forwarding, not port triggering. Now you're going to add a custom service, and we'll just call this service Minecraft. And start port, we have it set to 25565, so 25565. And then the ending port you want to be 25565. The server IP address is going to be the number that's on your router for your computer, so go back down to your IP config, and you want to see your IPv4. I'm 192.168.1.5, and right here it's 192.168.1.blank, and I'm just going to put a 5 in there. If you restart your server, you may have to redo this. You want your service type to be TCP/UDP. Make sure you can do both or this won't work. Alright, next apply. And you'll have this service name. Alright, you can minimize this now. And now your server should run. So now we can just test it. I'll be able to connect, but I just want to see how fast it prepares. It'll prepare a lot faster once you have your first setup. Alright. Oh, I just did what I told you not to do and exited it. It's not good. Alright, next you're going to want to go to server properties. And this is where you can mess with your properties. If you can put the server port to anything, but 25565 is the standard and normally works better. You can choose it to be a hell world, which is the netherworld, in other words. It'll show the date the server was created and the title. You can make it online mode. It doesn't actually make it online or offline server. This means that you can either have hacked Minecraft people in your game or not. That's all I know about that. You can spawn monsters, those are mobs and stuff. For anything that you don't want, you put false. You can spawn animals, max players. I normally like to keep these at 5, but I'm going to put 10 for the purposes. You can make it PvP. Then you save that and exit that. Here's your world file. If you open it up and go down here, you can see all the players that have ever joined. Nobody's joined mine yet because it is brand new. Now when you go to ops, this means admins. Let's see, my username is RJTJR2. And if I save this just like that, I'll be an admin. Excuse me. And this is where your banned IP addresses will be in case you ban a player but they come back on a different account. And that's it for running your server. You should always run the batch file and it should always run fine. Thanks for watching and I hope this helped. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.